So we are on item number 3, rising report from closed session. Okay, and now we'll move on to the acknowledgement of traditional lands.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe-Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the lands, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you for that. Okay. Could I get a mover and a seconder to rise and report on this things that we discussed in closed session?
Yes, Chair, happy to move.
Great. Second, Mr. Sinha?
Happy to.
Great. Done and done. Okay, so now we need an approval of this agenda. It's kind of a small group here today. Mr. Sinha, can you do a little bit of that?
With pleasure.
Okay, great. Second by Trustee Alves, if you could.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Any problems? Everything's okay? All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. We're on to item 6, declarations of conflict of interest. Got another 2?
I have none.
Great. I do not see any. Next, we have item 7, approval of minutes of the Audit Committee meeting of March the 9th, 2023. Have someone throw that on the floor?
Yes, sir, happy to.
Great. Okay, yep. We have it. And any discussions, discrepancies, complaints on the Audit Committee meeting of March the 9th, 2023?
None for me, sir.
Okay, great. On we go. Item 8 is delegations. I do not see any. Are there any? No, don't appear to be any. So now we move on to section 9, which is staff reports. 9.1, I guess. Tanya, you have the floor.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. So our standard process at the audit committee is to review the work plan, which makes sure that we continue to be in alignment of all the requirements of Ontario Regulation 36110. So with respect to this meeting, the main areas covered are section 9.2, which looks at internal controls and reports being done by that were held and closed by RIAT in terms of status, and you will also be hearing later in the open session from our own internal audit about the plans for next year's audits of the schools. Additionally, section 11.1, which speaks to the requirements in terms of the number of meetings to be held in a year, and we have already in compliance as the requirements to have 3 meetings in a year, and we've done that as well. Other than that, again, section 15.1 speaks of the different reports that are going to be generated. So the status report that was provided today will form part of our year-end requirement to report both to the ministry and to the board on the audit committee plans and the work that's being done through review of all the audit work in the year. Happy to take any questions.
See if we have it. See hands up. My missing something? Nope. Okay, I don't see any hands. Are there any questions or concerns? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much for that. We'll move on to item 9.2, the 2020. Oh, okay, yep. Can we move receipt of this report, please? Trustee Cameron?
I just got in, but sure, I can do it.
Okay. Mr. Sin, are you okay to second?
With pleasure.
All in favor, proceed?
Aye.
Aye.
So now we'll move on to 9.2, which is the 2023-2024 audit plan. Renee, you have the floor.
Through you, Chair Davies. This report comes to you, or at least for receipt. It's our next year's audit plan. We have scheduled similarly to prior years, other than myself, which I have removed a couple of secondary schools in order for me to spend additional time as the manager of the department, and also for preparing different summaries. And there's a few different requests that have come forward, so I'm going to be working on those throughout the year as well. However, this also leaves room for any requests that you may have for us to look into and review, and perhaps audit another area beyond what you see here. So that would be something that you can bring forward at any time during the year. And in the meantime, we will press ahead with this in the next school year. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
Through your chair, Renee, if we can get the report that you generally bring on the coverage of schools with the ones that have been covered over a period of time and when it was covered, that would be very useful.
Through you, Chair, in September meeting, we bring forward the audit log, which indicates the schools that have been audited, and it will have all the dates of the most recent audit for each of the schools in Peel. And also we will have the common audit findings that we share with the schools as well. Prior to their being audited, they have access to that over the internet, and we bring that forward in the September meeting. As far as the current schools that are being audited, there are a number that will also come forward in September. At this point, we didn't have all of the responses back in order to bring them more fully to the committee. But certainly there have not, I can reassure you, there's only one that may have a possible 3 level at this point, but it's still undergoing continued investigation into that school, or that issue at that school. So at the current time, there's only the one that would be more significant, but that would come forward as a full audit report. You would see the complete audit report. The rest will be on a list of schools that have been audited.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions on this report? Okay, could I have someone throw it on the floor?
With pleasure.
Okay. Second. Yep. Second, Trustee Cameron?
Happy to second. Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have it.
Aye.
Down to item number 9.3, the audit committee meeting schedule. When will we meet again? Presented by Associate Director Bill.
Sure. So through you, Chair, the report lists the proposed meeting dates for this meeting for the 23-24 school year, and I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Everybody seem to be okay with those dates so far?
Chair?
Yes.
Could I just ask a question? The dates are fine, of course. So my question is, will it be Thursday, September 28th meeting that the item 5.2 from our closed session will come forward there?
So through you, Chair, actually there was a revised report which was sent, and so the next meeting in fact is on September 14th, Thursday, September 14th, and that's where we plan to bring back this report.
Sorry, so that's September 14th is a meeting that was already scheduled for us?
So through you, Chair, originally when the agenda was sent, after it was sent, we did realize there was a conflict for that September 28th date. So we did send out a revised report which lists the meetings and dates. So the next meeting based on the revised report is actually on September 14th, which is Thursday as well. And that's the date, the meeting date that we will be bringing back the other report.
Okay, thank you. It's just not populated in, at least in my calendar. Yet.
Through you, Chair, we will once after this meeting, we will actually send out the meeting invites, and it will be in your calendar at that point.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Any other thoughts or questions on this? Seeing none. Trustee Ellis, can you throw this on the floor?
I will, Chair.
Okay, Mr. Sinha, will you second this?
I'll go.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I count three. That's good. Okay, so we're now down to item 10, which is committee member motions for consideration. I did not see any. Number 11 is committee member notices of motion. I also did not receive any. So item 12 is adjournment. Trustee Cameron, would you do the honors?
I will. Yes, sir.
Mr. Sinha?
Pleasure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.